Hey everyone, Mike Miller with the Herald Times, joined by IU basketball columnist Jeremy Price, coming to you from one of the main hallways of the Chrysler Center. The place is pretty dark, actually.
It was pretty dark for Indiana tonight, that's for sure.
That was not even a metaphor. That was, boy, we were just talking. How did we get from Michigan State to this one, a 90-60 loss?
It's night and day.
Yeah, this was. Can't even say you haven't seen this Indiana team before, because we have.
Yeah.
We've seen it in long stretches, shorter stretches. We've seen it from time to time. Never, however, for 40 minutes, sustained, basically. Yeah. Just awful, pitiful basketball. One of the worst losses of the Tom Crean era. Really the third worst margin of defeat for Indiana under Tom Crean. The worst in Big Ten play. The worst was Wisconsin by 32 points in 2010. They lost to Illinois by 31 points in 2009. And then you have this one, a 30-point loss here in Michigan. That's not to mention a 38-point loss to Notre Dame in 2008. We were far past that era of IU basketball under Tom Crean until the Indiana basketball team got up here to Ann Arbor tonight. And
you can thank Grant Galen for salvaging that much out of it, but for a couple late threes, it would have been worse than 30.
Yeah, I think Michigan got up to as many as 37 points was their largest lead.
Yeah,
so
I think so, yeah.
This was a stinker, and this was a stinker from the earliest moments. This was just bad basketball from beginning to end, just the most disconnected I've seen this team all year. Just careless, uninspired, and at no point did it ever seem like it was turning around. Tom Crean came out and said about the final 13 minutes of the first half, or it was a one-point game or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Meaningless stat, because it was so far gone by that point that it was just kind of like, they're really doing this right now.
And basically what happened was Indiana finally found its offense those final 12 or 13 minutes of the first half, but the defense never bothered to show up in this game. And the offense was just terrible to begin with, too. I mean, it was stagnant. It wasn't a factor, and Michigan was just basically bullying Indiana around a lot of this game. It's kind of funny because, you talk about how do we get from Michigan State, where Tom Izzo said that Indiana was bullying his team, till we got to this game tonight where roles were reversed and basically Indiana was bullied by Michigan. Indiana shot a good percentage. What they wound up 54%.
They were 60% at halftime, 59%.
Yeah. But they only scored 60 points, which is testament to, one, the slow start, two, just horrendous turnovers numbers.
The points off turnovers.
It was 16 turnovers, and it seemed like 32. It was just brutal.
What did they have? 28 points off turnovers, I think it was?
Yes, 28 points off turnovers for Michigan tonight. Really pick your stat. What stat would you like Michigan to dominated the paint, dominated the offensive glass, second chance points, points off turnovers, three-pointers? Michigan shot 67% in the first half and cooled off to 58% in the second half.
And at the same time, flip the box a little bit. You go up to the Indiana numbers, and we've been talking about the last two games with OG out, with Juwan easing his way back in. He did play tonight, I think, 11 minutes in a very minor role. But with those absences, Indiana had to lean more on that junior core of James Blackman Jr., Rob Johnson. I thought for at least offensively and in some certain moments, Johnson did his part. But James Blackman Jr. was a no-show. He didn't even show up. It was just a total non-factor in this game. I think he had 4 points, 2 for 3 from the field. Didn't attempt a single three-pointer. Didn't attempt a single shot in the second half.
Right.
Just completely disappointing, absent performance from James Blackman Jr.
It was, and probably the most interesting part of the post-game press conference, all 3.5 minutes for Tom Crean, was maybe a little bulletin board material for Michigan when these two teams meet again in a couple weeks, when he basically said it wasn't, I'm sure they'll feel good about it, but it really wasn't anything they did. It was all us. We stunk. We didn't screen well. We didn't do a whole lot of anything well. So I'm sure that will set well with Michigan in a couple of weeks.
And Michigan is already good at bulletin board material. I think after the Illinois, again, this is a Michigan team that got its butt kicked at Illinois. And after that game, I think Maverick Morgan said something like, they're more of a white-collar program. They're not tough enough. And that was why Michigan was wearing the blue jerseys the last game against Illinois, just showing that, all right, we saw that quote, Maverick Morgan, we're going to wear some blue collars and come out and kick you around, which is what they did against Illinois. And frankly, it's kind of what they did. We're prepared to do at least against Indiana today. Again, Indiana didn't show up, but Michigan certainly did, and they were ready to take the fight to Indiana. But Indiana
and
just
Michigan
didn't want to fight.
had already paid back Indiana a little bit for that loss here last year with the win in the Big Ten tournament last year. But by the same token, they were definitely playing the we remember the 28-0 run card as well.
Remember that?
They certainly haven't forgot it. And it was funny because this game started out very similar to that game a year ago, but clearly Michigan had it in its mind, we're not letting up, we're not letting off the gas, we're not letting Indiana pull off some 28-0 run tonight. And I guess the biggest thing to me is that passion, that fire, that determination to find some motivation, whatever that is what was completely missing in my mind for Indiana tonight. It's sort of the thing that baffles me the most about this team. You know, these slow starts and things, it's always, we just didn't have the right mindset, we weren't prepared, we didn't come out ready to play. And it always comes off so sort of matter of fact and just kind of, It's like, you know, where's the passion? Where's the fire? Is anybody get mad about this? Has anybody had enough? Does anybody want to do anything about it? I mean, I'm just watching it. I don't really enjoy it. I mean, there's got to be something in these guys that makes them have the will to come out and not put themselves in that position again. And I guess maybe if you want to chalk it up to it was an emotion.